While it is absolutely comfortable on the couch today and super relaxing, definitely, I definitely would love to munch on some berries and sip on a glass of wine. But would need to dive into the topic or the conversation today. Beautiful people of love, as David would say. My name remains Mansour Z, and I welcome you to the ABE podcast. ABE for African Bridal Experience. And today won't be any different from what it's always been. It is still talking about weddings, the wedding industry, and how exactly we can ensure a beautiful destiny of this industry. By that I mean how we can grow the industry, how we can better the industry, so we move always to thought-provoking topics and conversations that definitely yield amazing results at the end, definitely, because it brings up solutions to a couple problems facing the industry. I'm definitely not alone on here today, as I have a creative par excellence, an amazing individual. He's done so well for the industry and himself. I think I should just let him do this intro by himself. But he's Pastor Isaac, as we all know him. Pastor Isaac, you're welcome on the show.
Thank you. All right, so the name is actually Isaac Achia Obobi. I'm Ghanaian.
You're Ghanaian?
Yeah.
Chale.
It's saying. So a lot of people don't know that. I grew up here. I wasn't born here though, but I grew up here. So I've spent more than 2/3 of my life in Nigeria.
Nigeria. So I mean, would call you a Nigerian preferably.
Yeah, I am. I'm more Nigerian than you are. I'm married to a Nigerian. I have Nigerian children.
Wow.
But by birth, I'm actually Ghanaian.
I mean, before we go into it, let's shed some light on your Ghanaian Nigerian person, right? Which jollof is the best, Nigerian or Ghana jollof?
Oh, okay. On the jollof matter, I will go for the Ghanaian jollof any day.
Okay.
Because the Nigerian jollof has too much smoke.
I hope you know we have a lot of Nigerians listening here, and
for the sake of business,
Yeah.
For the sake of business, I give it to the Nigerian jollof.
I won't lie. I don't have a pick personally, because I've had both. And I had both by an amazing chef in Ghana. He cooks Nigerian jollof and made also the Ghana one. And I really enjoyed the Ghanaian one. And I mean, I don't want to say it on here that the Ghanaian one is more preferable, but yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
So that you also don't lose on your business side.
So on the topic today, we're talking creating immersive wedding experiences. And Pastor Isaac, like I said, is a creative par excellence, and he's a wedding producer, an event producer. He's done so well on the lighting and sound perspective of production as well. And I mean, permit me to say this, people generalize events production so much so that we think the camera guy does everything pertaining to how exactly the outlook of the wedding is, forgetting that we have wedding planners, we have the lighting department, we have the sound department, and every others that puts the entire wedding experience together. So at the end of the day, we don't exactly pay much attention to these departments of the production, that when the experience is not as expected, we blame one person, but we're actually supposed to blame that client who actually did not see through the fact that there are various departments that would come together to ensure that this actually gives an amazing experience, right? Okay. So I'm throwing it to you now. Why do you think people don't actually know about the segmentation or the splitting departments of the production in weddings?
Okay, so I'd like us to go back to the very beginning.
Okay.
Let's take the word production. Mm-hmm. Now, when you don't understand the word production, then you can't produce anything.
Apparently.
So, yes. So the problem is with the drivers of the industry. All right. So they don't have an understanding of production. And so what's a production? A production means that it's a process of several people, a process of several protocols, a process of several processes, if I'm allowed to use that word. And every process requires an expertise, okay, to be able to get the desired result. Let me use the word the desired result, because it means that the desired result is set before we embark on the production. And so the production is for the desired result. You understand that? And so because there's no production in place, there is no desired result, we just want to have an event. It's not an event production. It's just let us do something. Do you understand? The way it has always been done. But if we see it differently, for instance, the step it takes us to be so conscious about what we wear, how we wear it, and how it looks on us. Do you get? If we are that conscious about wedding productions,
Yeah.
we will do them differently, because this is what really happens. And then we need to also now follow the basic aspects of production, which means that there must be a manager, there must be a productions director who has a bit of knowledge of every detail and aspect of the process.
Exactly.
Do you understand? But that really doesn't happen, because for the most part, the guys in charge, who are supposed to be the directors, the production directors, really don't have a full grasp of how every other detail of the industry works. What screens are, what sound should handle that hall,
Exactly.
what volume we should be using, what type of arrays should come in, what type of lighting
Lights,
should
yeah.
come in, and all of that. And a lot of times, because you don't know, you sometimes underplay some of these aspects. You don't give it the desired attention. Do you get? And so that becomes the problem. And coincidentally so, because some of the guys who man the various aspects of the industry have trained themselves and are professionals.
Yes.
Do you get? So when you bring them on board, they do their professional jobs. And at the end of the day, the event comes out well. But that is not the desired result. Do you understand?
I get you.
So if I tell you I want to eat coconut rice with shrimps, and you bring coconut rice without the shrimps,
Or
you
with
bring-
lobsters.
or with lobsters, that's not it. Or I want to eat rice, and you bring something that looks like rice, that's not it.
If it's not Panadol, it can never be
It
Panadol.
can never be like Panadol. So that's where the problem is. It starts with us understanding that what we are doing, understanding and accepting the fact that what we are doing is a production. Once we accept that this is a production, it will change the nomenclature, it will change the approach, it will change the process. And until that is done, trust me, Monsu, it won't work. That's the truth about it. And so we will just keep doing this. Like I said, we're talking backstage. I was
Yes.
saying to you that we have the wedding industry has become an industry like 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't think it's even up to that.
Yes.
About some
Let's say 3, 4.
3, 4 years ago, it became an industry on its own.
I agree.
Before it was embedded into the general
Events,
event industry and all of that. But right now it's standing tall, strong, and it's dwarfing almost every other aspect of the of the industry, event industry, apart from the concerts and all of those other things and that. And because of how regular it happens, you get. So I think that's the first thing.
So apparently, that's even why we have the ABE podcast. I mean, to challenge the status quo. And we've noticed lately that the creative industry generally, right, has been doing better. It's been doing a lot, right?
Okay.
And we've even been exporting the creativity, or generally our creativity, from this side of the world out of our own borders. And even in the wedding industry as well, you get to see that even people in your, permits me to use the word, department of production actually now even take master classes and train people on these. That's like, I mean, let's say some 5 years before now, we get to always learn from people out of here. But now we're now teaching those same people what we know, because I mean, we most likely can even do it better, right? So that brings me back to you being the CEO of Concert Weddings. I mean, I didn't get to put that in initially. So let's just have a little brief of your journey.
Oh, okay. So, please, I wish this part
Okay.
doesn't go online,
Okay.
but then it's good to know now. So, I've been in the industry, the event industry, for approximately 28 years.
Oh wow. That's
All
more
right.
than 2 decades, almost
All
three.
right. So I have several trainings
Yes.
on that.
Mm-hmm.
Last of it is my theoretical certificate I have from Obafemi Awolowo University.
Wow.
So, and there I did lighting and stage design and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
That was my specialty. And so I just went basically into events, and that was it. But then, when about 3, 4 years ago, when the wedding industry was becoming an industry, when it was becoming an industry, I
Mm-hmm.
knew that it was something that I needed to delve into. And then I saw what was happening in the industry, and I wasn't comfortable with it at all,
Exactly.
because it was defying every production protocol,
Mm-hmm.
particularly lighting and sound. They were defying every protocol. I mean, whether it's the wedding industry or whatever other industry, there are industry standards. Do you understand? And for me, I was like, why are we doing this? And then we were making so much noise. And I was like, wow, these are the guys. And I was looking at what they were doing. Rubbish.
Can see the mediocrity.
It was rubbish. And so I told myself, I think I need to step into this,
Mm-hmm.
And so exactly 2 years and 9 months. So December 2020, 5th December, we started Concert Weddings. All
Okay.
right. And so the name actually came from what we wanted to achieve. We wanted to take weddings
Concerts,
to the
weddings.
next level,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it was called Concert
Concert
Weddings.
weddings.
And so the first one we did was, I don't even want to think about it. So December 5th, AGNL. My planner was Okwemi. Oomph Events is back in Canada now, and that was it. That's how we started, and it was from there, and we started challenging the status quo, that no, it can be better than this. Spoke to a few guys in the industry, and I can tell you for a fact that things have changed. Lighting is better now. The average guy on the streets will do lighting at a better level than we were always doing about some 3, 4 years ago. All right.
But in as much as it has changed, it can still be better.
Well,
There's still a lot to achieve
there's
in
so
front.
much to do. We have still not rectified the protocols that we were breaking.
Exactly.
We've just improved on it. All right. And like I said, so there are gatekeepers in any industry. There are gatekeepers.
Definitely.
All right. So right now, the gatekeepers are not allowing for that total change and overhaul, that we are able to now appreciate and bring in the protocols for doing things properly. You get it? And if that is not done, we will keep micromanaging, doing things from the back door.
Exactly.
And we will still not get the desired results as it stands.
Apparently, this was going to be what I was throwing in next. The
Okay.
gatekeepers and, those elements that cause the blockage in growth, right? But definitely something needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
Since we're still, on the point of challenging the status quo, something needs to be done, especially to challenge the same gatekeepers, right? But have there been anything per se that you've most likely thought or you've probably implemented in having to address this?
Oh, okay. So one of the things I'm doing backstage is we're having meetings with other lighting companies to change the narrative as to how some of these things are done. We're trying to do that. That's one. Two, I'm also involved in trainings. I'm also involved in trainings for planners.
Okay.
So there are planner institutions that are training planners and all of that. And so we're involved in a few to train the planners from that level before they get into the industry itself.
Exactly.
Because truth be said, some of these gatekeepers are bereft of knowledge.
I get you.
You
So
get it? They are bereft of knowledge. And so what they just do is just sit, let's do this. We call for a vendors meeting and all of us just converge. We don't follow the production protocol and all of that. So a lot of times, if that training is not done, and then also very lately we had an Abuja town hall meeting, which yeah, it was super impressive. You know, for all of us had to come together, divided ourselves into the several industries that we were all operating in, or departments that we were operating in, and a lot was said, and we're looking forward to the implementation of that. You get, and particularly, I would like to say in Abuja, we're lacking behind a bit in the organizational structure of how some of these businesses and departments are
because
done.
time is evolving. We're like the world is evolving, so we definitely have to move with time. We have to evolve. If we remain with the same template that's been built and we consistently follow, we'll just be stagnant.
It's definitely not.
Would remain in one point.
It's definitely not. Gonna
Okay,
work.
but I just want you to run us a little by like the process involved in curating a wedding on the lights and sound aspect.
Okay. So two things. Talking about productions, and so this is how it's done. You don't build a house first. There must be a design.
Foundation, yeah.
So it starts with the design.
Design, yeah.
So it's that design that determines the foundation and how the building. I have never seen a building that starts with block work. It's foundation first.
Yes.
So does it mean you can't start with block work? Yes, you can. You can just put the block on the floor and start laying.
And wait for collapse.
And just wait for collapse. Do you understand? And I can tell you for a fact that the wedding industry, if we are not careful, something catastrophic, because we have a lot of people. It's becoming saturated.
Yes.
A lot of people are coming into the wedding industry. Standards are not being upheld anymore. And God forbid it gets to the point where we now have someone commit a very huge problem, basic technical error, and then it affects the industry really terribly.
Yes.
So the process is simple. Once there is a design that we want to achieve, then the gatekeepers, who I call the planners, now go into action. Okay, we want to have this wedding experience. Every person in the industry has a style.
Actually.
And so it's not every wedding that I can handle because I have a style. And so if you have a very moody, you want to have a moody, calm, and all of that kind of wedding, can I do it? Yes, but it's not my style.
Yeah, so no matter, even if you give it your 100,
yes,
it won't resonate with your style.
It will not resonate with my style. And so there is what we want to achieve, all right? And so that's where it starts from. So once we know the achievement, what do we want to achieve with this wedding, then we begin to bring in the players. Do you get it?
Yes.
We begin to bring in the players. We want to dig a foundation that is, we're going a 10-story building, a 20-story building. You would not call the abokis to come and dig that. But if you are doing a corner shop, yes, you can call the abokis because they're going max 4 feet, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet down.
Yes.
All right. But if you are building a skyscraper, you need to bring in those machines to come dig out that foundation.
Yes.
And so if that brings me to the point that depending on what the design is that we're trying to achieve, then we can now begin to bring in the requisite players that will be able to achieve that design.
I get you.
That is what doesn't happen. And so we work rather with price. Are you available for so dates to do this job and all of that? No, nothing is said to us. You don't give us the design and the scope,
anything.
the brief and all of that. We're just talking about light and light. I need light for this, I need light for that. But that's not how it happens. There are key players in this industry that work together. All right. The decorator, that's the designer,
Yes.
the sound guy, the MC, making for, and then the light guy. The beautiful thing about the rest of these guys is that the decorator will come, do his event, set up the place, and go. His job ends when the event begins.
Begins, yeah.
Now, who do you leave that beautiful edifice in his hands? You leave it in the hands of the lighting company.
And then in cases of hazard,
Not even hazard. The beauty of that thing is in the hands of the lighting company.
actually,
The whole experience is now in the
outlook,
outlook.
what pops it.
What makes it pop? What makes it shine? What makes it everything is in the hands of the lighting company.
I think this even takes us to the technicalities. But I mean, before we jump into that, let's quickly go on a brief break. And when we come back, we delve at the technicalities of lighting and sound in the wedding industry and how exactly these technicalities are challenged and a few solutions to what exactly could be done on, solving these challenges. We'll be back in a bit. Don't go nowhere.
So we'll take out all the lights. At the time she's coming in, do you get it? And then we'll now use this, and then probably add a bit of the key lights. Yes, just to highlight the face. Do you understand? And while every other thing goes black. Hello, my name is Isaac. I'm the CEO of Concert Weddings, and this is my vendors camp on African Bridal Experience. Come with me. Let me show you a few stuff that we're going to be doing today.
Welcome to the Africanas.
Beautiful people, it's still the ABE podcast with me, definitely Mansour Z, and I have the ever creative Pastor Isaac on set with me, and we're still talking about the crafting immersive wedding experiences. He's a lights and sound specialist, and definitely has done so well generally in production in the wedding industry. And I even want to drop just a little gist about when Pastor Isaac just came in here. I was still running through the setup, and immediately he looked to our sound guy, his backstage definitely, and he could literally point out that the sound wasn't exactly working correctly just by being here on set and looking backstage. I didn't know how that was happening, and he could tell that the sound wasn't exactly right. And they just did their thing and they got it settled. And also, while he was still on the couch, he was looking through and seeing how the combination of our both fabrics or what we're putting on, the differences in how it was standing out and how it was going to be applicable on the cameras. And that was beautiful to see. So Pastor Isaac, it brings me to ask you something on the synergy between sounds and lights, because I could tell about how vast you are in both, right? You could literally see what was going wrong with the sound and definitely even with the light and the outlook of things. So is there something that connects technically lights and sound?
Okay, so that's they connect in application.
Okay.
That's the only place they connect. It's not as if you need lights to do sound or you need sound to do light.
Okay.
All right, but they connect in application depending on how you want to actually do it.
More like the output?
Yeah, more like output. So in application. So it's when you apply them correctly, that is when they connect. So they are tools. Now they are just tools. So it depends on how you use them, because there is no way you need light to do sound. Neither do you need sound to do light. But then if you use them correctly, all right, you'll be able to create an experience that would look very good. So for instance, sound is up and running, and then there's a particular beat. Also, in lighting, there is a way we can integrate tempo into it, and so it's called BPMs, beats per minute.
Okay.
All right, and so you can actually integrate sound into it, and that's why I said it's in applications. So it does not necessarily, it's not something you use every time. That okay, you are lighting up for an event and then you are you have your beat per second integrated into it. You understand the time
Yes.
flows and all of that. That doesn't work. All right. So what happens is that the application is where you are able to integrate the things into it. So you have sound coming up. You can actually time your lighting to be able to sync with your beats in the sound, and then
Okay.
people find out how it's very immersive and all of that. You get it. So there's it, aside that, there's not really like, oh, when the sound is not good, then it means the light is not. They don't affect themselves
Yes.
in any way. But then there are applications that you can use and get it right.
So in this same application, right, I've gotten to figure out or notice that I mean, for a lot of creatives, excuse me, for a lot of creatives, when their works are not being appreciated, it becomes a problem. They most likely might even drop it, right? And in the application of sounds and lights, like I mean, like you said, beats per seconds. There are times when sounds are going and light have to go with them, and there is a lot of work that go in on that, right? But most people might not even understand that work. They might just appreciate the experience, not knowing the amount of work that go in, right? So does it actually discourage you from the craft? I mean, definitely you've been too long in this game. Or I mean, 28 years, no be beans, definitely, right? But when your craft is not being appreciated and the amount of work that you put in is not being appreciated, do you get discouraged to any extent? Or if not, what exactly do you do?
Okay, so like you rightly said, I've passed those hurdles, and there's no turning back for me. So it's
Yes.
either this or this. All right. Sadly, so this is the fifth time I'm starting this business again.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I've had issues. I had to shut down the business.
Can we know about the worst of them?
Okay, so very emotional, but I almost lost one of my staff at an event. He was on one of the trussing system that was about 7 meter high, and he fell from that height. And it was a very traumatic experience. For about 4 or 5 months, he was in the hospital. He had I think an 18-hour surgery. And two of the doctors even fainted and all that.
On the surgery?
On the surgery. It was really bad, and I wasn't doing so well at the time.
Yes.
So I had to sell off everything to take care of that guy's hospital bill. Everything. When I mean everything. I sold amplifiers, sold speakers.
Apparently, it's no business of the client.
Well, so I sold everything. I just sold everything, and luckily he was okay, and he got back, and then we started again, and this is the.
And he's still in the game. He's still in the business.
Yes, he's in the business, although he's no longer with us, but he's still in the business
with everything complete.
Yeah, everything is working. He's good.
Okay,
he's good.
Oh well.
So, but for that, I mean, that's. But then, so if I've gone through all of that and several other things,
yes,
and I'm not dissuaded and I'm still here, it means that there's really nothing you would say or do to me that will make me leave the business. All right. But there is a lot that happens in the industry. You feel a bit offended when the person who is trying to give you directions does not have an idea
of what
he or she wants, because you are the one that probably brought us in, and then you are just ranting and all of that. Truth be said, we are trying to create immersive wedding experiences, and that is not yam, that's not beans. It takes a lot of work from all the parties involved. Do you understand? Like we said earlier, the technical expertise must be top notch. Bring in guys who know what they are doing. Not, I love what happens on Instagram, but don't judge by Instagram.
Yeah, by mere, it's always fallacy that goes on.
Don't judge by Instagram. Something happened last week. There was an event, and the sound was terrible. When I mean terrible, as in terrible. Nobody could hear in the hall. It was just howling and all of that.
And they couldn't salvage it.
They couldn't salvage it for hours. Somebody else had to come, another guy in the industry had to come and bail them out, But guess what? 20 minutes after that event, I saw a post from that guy. I was shocked. When I saw the post on his Instagram page, I was shocked. I was like,
Was it
wow.
the same wedding I was
it
at?
not the same wedding that? And listen, if you watch that post, you will give him 10,000 jobs. Do you understand? And so we need to go back and do a lot of background checks. So I'm not so strong on social media. I'm
Yes.
not, because that's not where my
But definitely
strength
your
is.
work will always speak for
Do you
you.
get it? I can tell you that almost 90% of my jobs come from referrals. Oh, call this person, talk to this person, and then they do the talking for me. They say, you better use him, or he's very good at what he does. You're right. But then also there are other people you need to reach by way of post.
Yes.
And that's why I'm also not trying to get into that part.
But the funny thing, sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, for that person who most likely went to run edit to get a perfect content to put out, and I would call it quote unquote deceive people on social media. I mean, his day of reckoning will most likely come. It might not be now, it might not be tomorrow, but it's definitely come, because I think a lot of people cut corners these days, and this actually needs to be addressed, right? Because you were there. So definitely you'd still have more than 10 other persons who were there, who witnessed how bad it went. And if another person is most likely booking him for a job, and they can see through the how the initial job went, that he went to mix up to it to definitely come back to cutting him off or out. So I'm just using this to say that a lot of people who take chances at deception in the guise of trying to do better at their craft will definitely be reckoned at some point.
Definitely.
Right? Because
Definitely.
for you don't have to do too much to get referred or to be called on a job, because you definitely know what you're doing even better than any other person might think. Right? So I'm just using this to say that if it is what is worth doing is worth doing well. So if you can't do it, why not go learn? Why not go intern? Why not go have a mentor?
So that brings me to that point. We have a lot of guys in the industry who don't want to learn.
Yeah.
All right. So before we went on break, we were talking about creating the process.
Yes.
Now, we have a void. All right.
Yes.
So one part is sorted already. That's the design. Almost the bride, the groom, the planner, everybody has a design in mind.
Yes.
Now, so they jump the process of looking for the guys who will be able to put up that design, to the guys who will be able to take the price that they are offering.
Actually,
You get the gist.
I get you.
So it's like a movie. A movie is a production. That's usually my example. And so you want to do an action-based movie. All right?
Yes.
Who comes to mind? You would not, because they are not ready to
Spend money.
You now say, let's come to Nigeria and pick Ake and Popo to come and, do you understand? It doesn't make any sense. I get you. And so we always jump, and that is the reason why we're not getting those experiences the way we want to get it. Sorry to say, we're doing so well in Nigeria. Better than a lot of African countries.
Yes.
Better than the Lebanese. I will say this again and again. What we do in Nigeria, sincerely speaking, we're underpaid for it. We do so well. We have decorators who are doing so well. What they don't have is name and the opportunity to showcase what they're doing.
They have, yeah.
All right? What we do for weddings, I don't think some African countries do it.
They most likely don't even know about it.
They don't even know about it. What we put into a wedding in Nigeria, Then, this is where I actually want to drive at with this. Now, when we now put all of this in perspective, you pay a decorator 17 million to do decor for you, but then you want to pay the lighting company 500,000.
I get you.
Because in your mind, you believe that the decor is more important than the light.
You don't recognize.
The decorator wants that light to take her pictures.
Exactly.
The planner wants your light to take her pictures. And everybody says, wow, the lighting, the decor is fine. When I press black on my board and the whole place goes dark, you would not see anything the decorator has done.
Yeah.
And so we shortchange ourselves by pricing. I was talking about that process,
Yes.
that void that we have caused by just jumping the preferred to who is ready to take the price I am offering. Now, truth be said, I say this almost everywhere I go.
Yeah.
If you bring the cost of what the decorator brings to the table and what the lighting designer brings to the table, it's almost the same thing. And that is why people will not go out of their way to do very good lighting for you. This is the other thing. There is a difference between a DJ and a sound company.
Yes. And the sound, that's why they call them the sound guys and the DJ.
Do you understand? But you see, right now there's a package going on. Okay, I'm a DJ, I can do sound, I can do lights, I can do screens, I can do everything for you. I don't have a problem with that. But be professional with your craft.
No, there's definitely supposed to be a problem because
be
it's a creative
professional with your
space.
craft. And so this is what happens. If we do background checks, you would know that this company you are hiring has the equipment, but they do not have the engineering.
Exactly.
So you can have the equipment and not have the engineering. Do you get it? So that is another. So we now shift from who can actually deliver this job to who is ready to take my price. And you see, when you take who is ready to take my price, let me tell you this, and let me just open your eyes a bit. Go to any wedding, you will find out that when the DJ is speaking, when the MC is speaking, and when the DJ is playing, there are two different experiences.
Actually,
have you noticed?
I agree. Yes, a lot.
Now, it always look if the DJ if the MC cannot talk over the music, that sound is terrible. And
if the MC can't talk over the music,
if the MC cannot, because
not if the music
event,
is off.
Yes, the event is not. It's just like church. I'm a church boy. It's just like church. How can the pastor tell you, let us pray? And everybody is praying. And the pastor can't stop the prayer because when he's stopping the prayer, nobody can hear him.
I get you. Makes a lot of sense. I've never thought.
Who is
it
leading
in
that
this light.
experience? It's the pastor.
It's the pastor.
So if the pastor says stop and nobody can hear him, in sound it's called the noise floor. So if your sound, if your generated sound in terms of audio is not louder than the noise floor, listen, my brother, you are not doing sound. And in sound, there's calculation. How many people are we expecting at the venue? Now, it's not just people that are at the venue. Now, you have elements, you have props, you have all of those things that the decorator has brought in. You have chairs, you have tables, you have all of that in the hall. All of this absorbs sound. And that is why sometimes when they are testing their sound, they go to the back and listen and everything is fine. When the main event comes, it's as though they didn't set up. You are not hearing anything anywhere. Why? Because the sound is not enough for that place. Are you getting my point? So those are things that these planners, the gatekeepers who make these choices need to
put into consideration.
It's not about how much you want to charge. That's not the point. Get the guy who can deliver this job. That we are hearing noise does not mean that the sound is good. But you see, the truth about it, that you cannot give what you don't have.
Exactly.
And so it means that you yourself, you don't know what you're doing. But then we want to talk about the weddings in Lebanon. We want to talk about the weddings here, the weddings there.
Dubai.
The truth about it, that those guys are following protocols we are not following.
And
The guy
doing
who
it
is
their
doing
way.
sound is a different company. The DJ is a different company. No DJ in Nigeria that I know of has a sound company. They just have sound. It's okay if you have sound to just do your birthdays and all of that. But when it comes to a production, like a wedding, the MC is trying to tell people, okay, it's time for the bride and groom to walk in. They are not hearing because they are at the door. Nobody is hearing jack.
And it's the sound guy that connects the DJ on.
But if it's a sound company, they take measurements. They set up delays because the truth, like I said to you, we don't follow the protocol. It's not church. It's not a convention. It's
Yes.
not a conference. It's a wedding.
Wedding.
It has a different
It's
nomenclature.
loud.
Do you understand? In church, your noise floor is not that high. In a mosque, the noise floor is not that high. In a conference, the noise floor is not that high because everybody is facing that man who is speaking. Just a little whisper here, whisper there. In a wedding, everybody is talking.
Attention is diverted.
Hey, small chops. Hey, bring. Hey, you bring. I have not gotten drink. Friends are shouting. That noise floor is second to none. And then the DJ just brings those speakers, and you're thinking that you are able to fight that noise floor. It won't work, my brother.
I agree.
This is where the professionals come in, because once they walk into that hall, they understand. And then they begin to position correctly. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
And so in creating this, we need to begin to bring in the professionals. Not who can I afford,
Who can do the work?
or who can do the work for what it is that I am ready to pay for it. That's not how it works. And then you see, you cannot optimize a part of the wedding process and downgrade another part. And that part is also what I told somebody last week. I said, listen, when you are done with all of this decor, the decorator starts working sometimes 3 days before the event, depending on what they want to see. Someone want a waterfall. Someone this, someone that. They will just want
smoke.
They want
flowing.
smoke.
They
They want
walk
this. They
without
want
walking.
that. You understand? They create something really big and elaborate. Now, when that ends, what brings out it's called aesthetics.
Yes.
Now, when you build a house, the most expensive part of that is in the aesthetics.
Actually.
Do you
The
understand? So
interior, the
lighting and
furnishing.
sound are aesthetics. They are furnishings.
They
And
put
so
together the final
They
outlook.
put together the final output. Whether that thing we have spent money building from scratch is going to be nice or not, is in the hands of the light guy and the sound guy. I have seen MCs frustrated at venues because the sound is bad. He moves this way, we are hearing howlings. He moves that way, you are hearing howlings. And it does not make him put in his best.
I've seen an MC literally walk out of a wedding. Just dropped the mic and walked out. A lady, sorry, actually. She walked out and that was it. But on this note, I'd like to quickly drop something. Before we come to, close it, because the conversation has been an amazing one. I have learned a lot, actually, just listening to you. A lot of things that I've not known about in the wedding industry. So, this is a bit out of the conversation, but I just thought to bring it on. So you get to see a lot of light guys, sound guys, camera guys always complaining about how the wedding planner or the food people don't put them into consideration. They never just think about them to say, oh, they give them a plate of food. They even go to the buffet most likely to get food, and the server tells them, oh no, it's for the guests. But then, you have humans. We're all humans and we're all working. If I don't eat and if I don't put myself together, how exactly? I think it was even a topic of discussion lately on a Twitter space. So I'm throwing it back to you again. Do you think is something of any magnitude per se? Or do you make arrangements?
This is how I look at it.
Okay.
If you're being paid for something, take care of it.
Yes.
That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
Unless I have a very good relationship. I've worked with a lot of photographers, videographers, and they have a very good relationship with the planner, a very good relationship with the food guys.
Yes.
And so they sometimes go, I'm like, they are the first to eat. Sometimes the planners themselves get them for small chops because they've been working since 6 a.m. with the bride and the groom and all of that. So when they are getting into the hall, that's what the first thing they do for them. They just get them drinks and all of that to eat so that at least they can stand and take pictures. But it's not a right. I can tell you that for free.
Okay.
All right? That's the way I look at it.
Yes.
If I'm being paid, that means every other person should also go and ask for food. You start your work by 6 a.m. We started ours days before. And we didn't go to ask for food. And so what I do is that I make sure that every staff of mine has an allowance for food for the day, for the days that we work. All right? So that we don't depend on the food at the venue, because they eat before the event even
It
starts.
starts. Okay.
So for me, if you ask my candid opinion, that's not tenable.
Okay.
You should not use that as a yardstick to make it a case. It's not a case. It's a benefit that we all get. Sometimes the planner comes to us and say, "Oh, where are your guys? They should come and eat." But the truth be said, that food was, every person there was paid.
Exactly.
All right. So the food there is for the guest. But there are, to every rule there are exceptions.
Exactly.
You get it. So
That's my own
it's
part of-
something that they can work out between. Oh yeah, we don't have time to go eat because we are doing such and such and such and such. We are following the bride and the groom here and there, and so there's no time. So please, when we get to the venue, can we have this? That's an arrangement. But it should not be that because you are a photographer, you get to the hall and then you
It's
just
your
walk
right
up to,
to
it's
go
your
get
right to go
food.
get food.
I
No,
get
no.
you.
There are some things I do not totally
Okay.
agree.
On a final note, I would still like to throw this in. I mean, we've heard about a couple of challenges already, from the gatekeepers to how the lights and sound I definitely would always go in sync, to how most people don't even know the work that is being put in this. But finally, I'd just like to ask, are there other challenges that you feel like we've not exactly addressed, and that you would most likely want to talk about? And generally, what would you like to say to the viewers?
Okay, so basically, sometimes for us to choose properly, for us to choose who our vendors are going to be for weddings,
Yes.
let's put in these things that we have discussed.
Yes.
Let's look at who is able to do this thing. Yes, I saw this person on Instagram. I saw this. If it's not the job, if the person is not talking about the job, if the post is not about the job, don't judge that on Instagram. Talk to somebody else who has, all right. So like another thing we don't have in this industry is that we don't have accreditations. We don't have accreditations. And so for the building industry, you want to build. Once you say, okay, can we give this to Julius Berger? Nobody's going to question you.
Yes.
You just know that these guys
okay.
will deliver
Yes.
because they have a track record. You can see what they have built. All right? We don't have that in our industry because our industry allows for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to just walk up all over the place. You have money to buy some lights, so it makes you a lighting engineer.
I get you.
And you see, light is not something you need to be certified to be able to do light.
I can totally relate.
My brother, you can kill someone with light. Yes.
You shut me up on that one.
No, I'm serious. I can kill you with light.
Literally. You mean, are you saying this literally? Or?
I am telling you literally. I can kill you with light. I can also kill you with sound. So people get to venues, all right, and leave that place sick.
Oh, I think if it's the sound one, I think I can relate to a certain extent.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I get you.
You come okay, but you leave sick.
Yes.
You come okay and you leave and your eyes are not as good
Yes.
as they used to be when you came to that venue. All right?
Yes.
Now, when you watch TV, you would find out that they will tell you that what you're about to watch has flashing.
Epileptic.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, there are people who are epileptic. There are some people who never know that they're epileptic. And because they have never known, they don't have that history. When it happens to them, nobody really will know what to do. Because even they themselves might not even know what exactly is happening to them.
Yes.
Because they've never had it before. And so there's a question I ask my clients when we discuss and they tell me there's going to be an after party. The first question is that, what's the age range? And somebody asked me that, what kind of question is that? And I said, madam, please, can you tell me the age range of the people who will be attending this after party? And I took my time to school her. And I said, madam, this and this and this and this, they are health hazards involved in doing some level of, these guys club a lot.
Yes.
And so we're going to be doing club lighting. These guys, their eyes are super bright. They are fine. They are good. There are people. So it gives us an age bracket. We now know how to design the lights
light and
for the
sound.
after party. Oh, we're going to have so and so. We're going to have people above 30, 40, 50. Guy, what I will do for the teens is not what I'm going to be doing for that.
I agree with you. Apparently, when the first time I ever was in a club, I sat just in front of the speaker. The speaker was above me.
Yeah.
And when I left that club, because I followed, it was an event, so it was more like an after party for the event. And for 3 days, I wasn't hearing properly. It messed with my hearing. So I think I can relate to this. I mean, if maybe I was there for longer, or the sound was higher than it was, or the pitch or wherever I was higher, it most likely would have totally killed my hearing faculty. And I think I'm just using this to say I can relate.
I'm going to say this to you, and I believe that anyone here who listens to us will relate with it. There's a reason why your ear is the way it is. There is a place, and there is a way you should hear sound. Sound should not come from the back. Never should sound come from the back.
Please, everybody should listen to this. It's totally needed.
No, I'm serious.
Yes.
So when we hear surround sound, no, there's never a time that sound should come from the back. Because the way we are designed is that we should see what we hear.
It shouldn't come unexpectedly.
It should not come out unexpectedly. And we also should hear what we see. But, these are things that these guys don't know. So they just feel that, if you pump it, then it is sound.
Apparently.
There is frequency distribution. There's frequency response. There is frequency response in the hall. What does that mean? How does the hall, the venue, how does it respond to some certain frequencies? So what happens is that the DJ will just go there and just plug his sound and start playing.
Yeah.
No, we treat that room before the first sound comes out.
Yeah.
And then you now see that experience and you're like, wow. I like the way it was. Yeah. I was not at a venue one day. We set up sound somewhere and the person called, "Are you the one that did sound for this place?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay." And that was it. 1 year, 9 months now, that company has been using us because of what they heard. The person came in from the US, and so she appreciated the sound
What she heard there, it was relatable.
It was relatable. She just said, "Do you see these guys? They are the ones I want to be using for my sound." So when I work with her, you know what she does? She would pay us to do sound and tell the DJ to plug to us.
Oh, wow.
You get it? So it's a whole lot. And so if we're in my last words, all right? So in trying to create this, we must follow the protocol. That your event was successful or your event went well does not mean that it was successful. It could have been better.
Yes.
The experience could have been better. How do you know if your event was truly successful? Everyone in that venue will know.
Beautiful people. I'm sure that we've all been schooled by Pastor Isaac. This has actually been a very experiential episode of the ABE podcast, and we've gone through this conversation about lighting and sound mostly, and I'm sure we've learned a lot, and we've had a lot of take homes. Meanwhile, we should do so much in ensuring that we grow this industry. We own it, so we should definitely do a lot to grow it. It's been an educative one and a little entertaining for me. I don't know for you, definitely, but I've enjoyed myself on this, and I'd say a very big thank you to you, Pastor Isaac. Yes, so until another or the next episode of ABE podcast, I remain my humble self, Mansour Z. Thank you very much.